Oh, there's Allison. Nice timing. Hi, Allison.
Hi, so sorry. Um, I was very deep into my lunch and lost track of time. So I'm
That's
so sorry. I even made everyone go to early lunch as well too, so I could join them. Sorry.
that is okay.
Have you guys had BB Bob?
I haven't
Yeah.
yet. I'm probably the only person on the planet.
Mm,
Okay.
I've never
Y'all
heard of
need
it.
you need to. It's game changing. It's like an Asian version of Chipotle.
Ooh,
It's super healthy. They have a ton of vegetables, and I freaking love it so much. So that's why I was so busy like oohing and awing over how much I loved BB Bop. And then I was like, I got your text. I'm like, oh no. Sorry. I got distracted by the food. So
That's okay. I understand. That sounds delicious. I'm really hungry.
it was amazing. So
Well, you didn't miss much. We were just about to start, so nice timing.
perfect. Okay.
Um, yeah, so there's not much to go over today. I don't think we need to do welcome and introductions because I'm I'm like 99.9% sure we all know each other. So um so we do have a implementation application to review today. So we'll start off with that, and then after that, with any leftover time, as it's the end of the year, and I'm sure everyone's kind of finishing up projects and stuff, we'll go ahead and do group updates. And then I've got some announcements to share from the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. And then just a reminder about our next meeting. So we hold meetings on the fourth Thursday of every month. Or Wednesday, I need to correct that. That was my bad. Today is Wednesday. We hold them on the fourth Wednesday of every month at noon. So our next meeting is incorrect on this slide. I will fix that. So on that note, I am going to share the application we're going to be reviewing today. I'll have it up on the screen. And then I'm also going to go ahead and drop it in the chat. Um, so thankfully, Allison is here today. So Allison is submitting this application. Um, okay, I just dropped it. Does everybody have access to the implementation application we're reviewing today? Okay, I will go ahead and also bring it up on my screen. Okay, so um, if you've ever attended another sector, whether it be sport or school, these applications are pretty easy. So what we'll do today is Allison, since she's here, will just provide us a brief description of what she's asking for and how it aligns with some of the sector strategies and tactics. See, it's really short. And then what we'll do is we'll provide advice, or if there's any suggestions to, like, let's say we think that maybe Allison should ask for more funds, then we'll just discuss that. And if it passes through the sector, we'll bring it to the core work group for final approval. So Allison, do you want to go ahead and just share a little bit of information about what this is about? And this is being recorded, so anybody who's unable to attend today has an opportunity to review the application as well and provide feedback.
definitely. So this is the Just Walk application. This is something that we wanted to add to the Shawnee area. So we're trying to increase wellness offerings in this specific area just because it was one of the hot spots located that needs more programming. So the Just Walk again would be a free program to the public. We do have an indoor walking track here at the Mill Creek Activity Center. So the funds would be covering the fees that we would have for the indoor walking track to be covered to keep it free for participants. But when it's nicer out, we do plan to be outside at the nearby Streamway Trail Access trailhead over there right off of Barker Road, which is less than a mile away from the facility here at Mill Creek. But the indoor location, we do plan on having like some of the other healthcare institutes help come and attend, similar to a walk with the doc program, just come and learn about some healthcare things. We'll have different themes each month. So this is going to support, excuse me, the third priority of Strategy 20. This will line up for healthcare professionals to be role models for active lifestyles for patients and participants. It also aligns with the first tactic of Strategy 11, building cross-sector partnerships to promote physical activity in public parks. So we are excited to try and get this going, and we hope to engage the park and rec sector. Katie, is this the latest?
Yeah,
I don't
looking. I don't think this is it. I was just thinking that because I was starting to make updates to what I have in Teams.
The one that I was looking at had requested
we had a lot more money.
Even more money.
$750, I thought it was.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull mine up.
I wonder, I might have saved the wrong version. I saved it last month. I apologize. Let me continue looking as well.
But I can continue talking about the program a little bit. I don't have to read directly from it, but the other intention of this was to ask for some funds to provide healthy baskets for families and participants, and we would require families to register in advance. And so we would purchase some other swag items for indoor fitness, like stuff they could do at home, like resistance bands, some small free weights, any other sporting equipment as well for their family. And then it would be like the first 10 families that signed up, they would get a little swag bag or basket that they can take home and use throughout the month. We're hoping to get some healthy food items. We were going to start out with non-perishable items, but then also progress to healthier fresh food items and produce. Excuse me. And then we also will base off how many packets and gift bags and swag bags we give out based on enrollment as well. And this would be similar to kind of the wellness hubs that Matt Mann was doing over for their mobile wellness hub.
Hey, Alex, yeah, I'm totally familiar with all this. So I had just like a couple ideas that wouldn't have to have anything to do with your application. How about that? The Medical Society has retired physicians. They've done this exact thing and signed up and got the blessing and agreement and everything with the Walk with the Doc program. They might have some people for you if you wanted outside guests to walk. We tried to do them at the Wellness Hub, but nobody ever wanted to walk. So they just would ask questions and stuff. I mean, you know, it was kind of, that didn't quite pan out like we hoped. So that's one thing. The second thing is that Jeanette Metzler with Advent, I'll call it Shawnee Mission for the rest of my life because it was that for, you know, the first 50 years I was alive. I don't know. But we're doing a little thing with her with produce bags. Like she's giving us produce to use in some of our programs.
Okay.
So you might just see about that. You know, I think she just has like a little survey that she wants you to have them fill out. Just like it just asks like 4 questions. It's not any kind of big time evaluation or anything, but you might see about that. Yeah. So because we're using it with several of our different programs, we're incorporating this produce piece, and it's for Shawnee. That's why I'm suggesting that. You know, she kind of has her zip codes in the Shawnee area that she's focusing on, but we're using it for some things that are a little bit outside those zip codes. So it, you know, even if you weren't like right in the Shawano area when you were doing it, it might work.
Okay. Yeah, because I know we're kind of in a weird spot. Travel and transport would be probably the hardest part to get to this site because it's not super walkable because it's right off of Shawnee Mission Parkway. There is trail access through here, but it's a lot of weaving on the trails to get to here. So, and we definitely don't want people walking on foot on Shawnee Mission Parkway because that's just very busy. So I've got, I don't know, can you guys see my screen? Did I share it? Okay, so this is the application. We wanted to ask for $2,000 to support this program, and that is up to $2,000 if that is all spent. Part of those funds would be spent to cover the cost of walking indoors on the indoor walking track. It's just, we did work out a deal to where it'd be $25 per indoor use. And our goal is to cover 8 of those walks on the indoor track. And then with weather trends, heat advisories, poor air quality, all that, we do plan on having more inside. And then we would have the additional funds used to purchase incentives for participants like the healthy foods, fresh produce, pass out some water, some other swag, and then also $250 to continue for the licensure for next year. So, and then this is ran in conjunction with Children's Mercy. So I've been working with Katie. She actually helps run a lot of these at different parks, or at least get them going. And then she's got a whole roster of healthcare providers who sign up, and these programs would be on Saturdays once a month in Shawnee. So this is the real application, and it's a lot more money than the other one.
Oh,
So-
yeah, it is.
Just
Yeah.
one question for you, Allison. For the 250, you said it's for licensure. Is that for the indoor track or is that for something else?
That's just
I
the
can
state
answer that.
license.
Yeah, it
Huh?
covers the insurance, so it's through Walk
Okay.
with a Doc.
Okay,
Yeah, and it covers our partnership with them and the insurance they provide.
got it.
So,
Okay.
and technically that doesn't even come up until later on next year. I want to say it's April. We've got, again, 2 site locations right now. So that would just help renew that site itself.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Thank
think
you
this
for
sounds
asking.
great. I think this sounds great. And if for some reason they didn't want to give you the full amount, it certainly is scalable.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing. We're asking for up to that amount. So if we end up not having as many families sign up and then we don't give out as many like swag bags or produce sets, then obviously we won't spend that amount. So that way it can be used for other programs as well.
Yeah, and I think this sounds great, and it hits all the dots. And we've been wanting to get more of this going in Johnson County. All kinds of people are talking about it. So I think, and it certainly links in with an identified part of our county that needs more attention.
Yep. Thank you, Nicole. And then these are also the systems that and strategy and tactics that it does line with kind of what I talked about earlier. Cross-sector partnerships to build that with the healthcare sector, and then also promote physical activity in public parks and public spaces. And it's also going to support one of the healthcare strategy sectors.
Allison, I don't know if you want me to speak a little more to this included
Yes.
section, because I helped and I added this portion. So it's just a little background about like Walk with a Doc and how it aligns with lifestyle medicine. And that is one of the projects currently that our healthcare sector is working on. It's one of their subgroups, is bringing lifestyle medicine to the local hospitals around here and implementing it into their current education curriculum. So one of the, I guess, aspects of lifestyle medicine is connecting with the community. And so they actually support Walk with a Doc, and Just Walk is kind of like another subgroup under Walk with a Doc, because it's not just physicians, it can be any individual with like some kind of healthcare knowledge, to put it into plain terms. So we included that portion in because it does also align with that section of the healthcare sector. And then under the system level, it was an explanation of while this is directly individual behavioral change, long term, it could be applied to more when we think about it within also looking at the healthcare sector itself. So,
And then the other exciting piece, we didn't really include some in the application, but getting some of those folks out here. We also have a lot of resources at our activity center about how to check with your insurance provider to see if you do get free fitness through your health benefits and insurance benefits. So we have a lot of folks, you don't have to be of a certain age in order to get silver sneakers. So they have silver sneakers prime. And a lot of that is just, hey, if you might be at risk for some health things and your insurance wants you to be proactive about it. So they want you to have free fitness. They want you to keep moving. So we have a lot of those resources and information here to help walk patrons through that process of how to go about and check that. And so that's the other thing, is to introduce them to other things and other resources that they might not normally see. I know a lot of people get bombarded, excuse me, with the promo emails like, hey, workout for free here, but they kind of bypass it. So this is another exciting opportunity to get them in the doors here, have that little handout that will walk you through how to check and provide it, and then find out where all they are eligible, whether it be here or another nearby rec center or activity center that would offer it as well. We just want to get people moving.
Well,
And
I agree with Nicole. I think I think it makes a lot of sense for us to approve and move to the work group. I think did a good job tying it back to the strategies. I think that's kind of been a hit or miss when we see some of the applications come through the work group, is they don't always make sense and completely align, but I think here it does, especially like the cross sector through the health sector. So I don't remember how we do this. Do we just say yes? Okay,
yeah.
yes.
So yeah, this one, yes. No, it's confusing because the core work group, we do a
Or the
voting.
rating, yeah.
Yeah. And while this one is just like, do you think it should pass? Is there any improvements you would make before we move it forward? So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
we all agree.
that's the way it is. And I think it's a little more on point. Whatever happened? Sorry to be talking about two things at once. Whatever happened with that one we renewed a couple months ago with that private group?
Yeah, so Harris Park, they never resubmitted the application. So I followed up with them a few times and there were some corrections made, but it wasn't enough to pass through again. And it never got resubmitted in the end.
Okay. Yeah, I felt like we gave her
Yeah.
some good ideas on how to rewrite that, but I guess it didn't work for him. That's too bad. But
Yeah.
training for people, and she could have leaned on that more, and then it would have. That's okay though. That's up to them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that brings, further ideas for maybe some other or Parks and Rec programs that want to do something similar. Like I liked the idea of the scholarship opportunity. I think Nicole, were you the one who mentioned that to her? Like raise it as in like a
Yeah,
yeah.
but, it still would be revenue coming into them, and once the revenue comes in, it can go for whatever they want, right? Like well, anyway, that's okay. If they didn't understand that or didn't want to do it that way, that's okay. That's up to them.
Yeah, and I know that they're so busy. So Harris Park just they've got a lot going on. It's two people. It's Chris and his daughter Jasmine, and that was her first time writing a grant. So I think that
I
they're
thought, I
yeah.
mean, as far as the ideas and stuff, just like maybe not being familiar with grants more so that, like overhead, you typically don't get to write in. You know what I mean? Like that's okay.
Yeah. Well, that actually, I'm trying to pull up my agenda. brings me to the fact of, I'm glad you brought up the other application because we, as a sector, pretty much have all of our funding left. So while Allison, yeah, is applying for 2 grand, that still leaves us, if that passes the core work group, with almost $13,000 still. So we're pretty much, we've used $30 of our 15,000.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we have a lot of money. So
Let's spend it.
exactly.
Well, can I just report out on something that's related but not totally germane? We did end up getting that blast programming scheduled, the bike program scheduled at Neiman Elementary, and it's starting, maybe it's already started. So that's fun. And I think we have them lined up for Earn a Bike programming, potentially that we get, making sure it all works out in the spring. But I don't really need any money for that.
Okay.
I thought about applying for matching funds for it because we do have to come up with 20%, but I already got some and I have to spend that. You know what I mean? Like a couple times already, I've done some fundraising for this project, and then Bike Walk KC didn't spend as fast as we thought. And then I had to find another way. You know how much work it is to spend money when you're not allowed to do capital stuff or equipment. Like, it's real hard to spend money like $200 at a time, right?
Yeah.
So I had talked about doing that, but I don't think I would need it. So just FYI, that's why I haven't done anything. I've got stuff lined up already for that, but it's still going to happen.
That's awesome that you were to get those blast programs going. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Shawana wasn't.
They didn't even return our emails. Like, we talked to them and this is a friendly group, right? But
Yeah.
I know we're recorded, but we won't send it to Shawano. But we talked to them 2 or 3 times when we were there at the Wellness Hub.
Mhm.
And then we emailed 2 or 3 times over like last spring into the fall, and literally never even said no thank you.
Yeah, and I had some wellness programs over there as well, and I tried asking if I could speak with anyone. I did talk with our children's services rep. They do have a lot of other programs going on as well for wellness initiatives for their school. So I think that's why they weren't wanting to start anything else new, is because they've already got a whole lot of other offerings currently. They're just starting out for families. And
Yeah.
that's just through the grapevine for Mineford, which is great. We want them to be well and have resources, but
it's just funny though, because this blast program, literally all they have to do is open up the door and let them do something different than usual for PE.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't really, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't require anything except for opening the door, and the PE teacher doesn't have to plan stuff for a month. I don't know.
It's making it easy on them.
So it's okay if they don't want to do it. There's plenty of schools that want to, but it's too bad because we're really trying to focus on those zip codes, and I think it would have been a cool thing, but it's okay. It's totally fine.
Well, and this is also something that we can try approaching later, and maybe it's not the KDOT budgets or funds or grants that are paying for it, but maybe it's the KCPAP. So Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. Sorry, let me stop using letters. So
yeah,
You're so cool with your acronyms.
I'm trying to sound educated and smart. I practice that in the mirror. So yeah, well, Nicole, that's awesome. Thank you for all your work that you're doing on that as well. Are there any other programs that we might be missing or other groups? I know that the Aspen Institute survey is rolling and that's going strong. We've gotten quite a few responses, and I've been reading through the data, and so kind of geeking out on that because I love survey data. And I've already got some ideas for programs. One of the things that we see that people want to do is martial arts.
Yeah, we have a martial arts program at our Kansas City North Community Center. It's adult judo and youth judo, and every month they're like completely maxed out on registration with a wait list. And yeah, there's a real push for it, or a real like want for it.
Mhm. Well, and that's
We've
what we're
also had a couple regional like wrestling events up at that same location, and they're actually being contacted now by like other regional wrestling organizations to hold just like events there, and it goes really well in a gym, and it's actually very family friendly, or the way that they put it on is very family friendly. Kind of the way that the WWE is going now is to make it a family affair.
I mean, why not? So
So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that the martial arts is coming up as a request.
yeah, and then on the high school athletics side and club sports side, girls wrestling is also just like taken off like wildfire. So it's awesome. And so we're starting to see that trend more, and people want to know about self-defense and learn more about this. Everybody wants to fight. Not like somebody, but they just want to know how to fight. So
I have my nephew's daughter, my great niece. I'm dating myself a little bit that my nephews have children, but she's 6 and she is such a wrestler. It's hilarious. She kind of uses it on her brothers too, which makes me laugh even harder. Like she's the one you have to watch out for in that little group of 4. But so yeah, that's a big deal. The ladies wrestling or women's wrestling. Here's like just an offhanded thing. Do you think that I am trying to find funding for something. I have
Okay.
some funding, but not quite enough funding. But this may be slightly off point, but I'm just going to toss it out here since we're brainstorming. We are working with the Central Resource Library, that neighborhood there, on, that's a community development block grant neighborhood. There's lots of challenge, like transportation issues. We're doing some safe routes to school stuff there. We're trying to get some Girls on the Run going, several different things going there, right? So, I guess I'm wondering, like, do we think Girls on the Run scholarships would fly? Like if we didn't have enough, because, Girls on the Run can supply so much funding per site. But like if we had overflow, like too many girls that couldn't, because it's $200 to do it. And for what the program is, that's not expensive, but that's a lot of money for somebody though, if you have limited resources, right? I mean, when you look at everything that you get out of the program, it's very reasonable, except that if you don't have $200. So that's one thing I was thinking. Because I think we have, Girls on the Run has capacity for like 16 scholarships, but we're offering it to 3 different schools. So that would just be like 16 girls that could get a scholarship. But if we have more that need it, I'm a little worried about that. And then another idea would be like a walk and read. We have some of the funding we need for a walk and read, but we need maybe a little more. I don't know. Just a couple of ideas.
I think those would be awesome. I should know these by heart. But I need to review our strategic plan, but I definitely think that some of that could definitely be included, like the walk and read for sure. And then Girls on the Run. I'm not for sure about the scholarship program, because I know a lot of these programs, if we want people asking for funds, we want them to like, hey, this is just a starting block to help get like a catalyst on how to get other things rolling. However, if you can pay for someone for their application into Girls on the Run or their entry fee, I mean, that can continue them to continue being physically active and start getting more into other things. So I do think it is possible. I think it is a great idea. But I definitely think that we'll need to review that as well. Would you feel comfortable reaching out to Gina and see if Gina or Leah, and see if that might be something, or Lee, not Leah, Lee, see if that's something they might be interested in?
Yes, Lee, just tell me, I should know, but I don't really know who those people are just by their first name, but yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry, they are, they're Girls on the Run.
Oh yeah, I talk to Lee all the time.
Yeah, so yeah. I want to say Leah because of the way it's spelled, but it's just Lee. So
Yeah, Lee Kurtek, I think is how you
Yes.
say her last name. Yeah, I talk to Lee all the time, and we've been bouncing this whole thing around, being nervous that we don't have enough scholarships.
okay. Yeah, but I definitely think that that would be something worth a look to see if they would be interested in applying for that. At least
Okay,
for
yeah, I'll circle back with her about that to see, and maybe she's pulled a rabbit out of her hat too. I'm not sure, but
okay.
So really quick, that scholarship aligns more with the sports sector strategies. The sports sector is out of funding. If we can find a way to also involve one of the park strategies, then you could still ask for something along those lines, but it would still need to involve the sports sector. Just
okay, yeah,
help out with
Strategy
that.
11.
gotcha. Well, and the walk and read would definitely be in a park.
Yep.
So
And I think that one we could easily make work and try and align. And if it's something we can help to continue, as Allison was stating, like try not to make it a one-off thing, like how can we help to make this more long-term?
well, what
Maybe not within just the program, but also influencing physical activity within that area.
yes. And there's a whole lot of other things. I won't bore you guys with all those details, but it's all part of like this whole big safe routes to school thing, active transportation in that neighborhood. We're doing some route mapping for the students in the 4 schools around the Central Resource Library, not only for them walking and biking to school, but for them walking and biking to the library, because in the summer there's a free lunch program. So a lot of those families need those resources in the summer. So giving the kids a safe route if they have to come on their own for a free lunch. I mean, there's a lot of, I think that we could align that somehow. And then having the walk and read there, we have about $5,800 right now. We need a little more because we want it to become a permanent installation, you know, so that the books just they just are constantly putting different books in the displays. So, you know, I feel like there might be a way to jazz that up if we relate it to all these other things. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to cut you off and say yes earlier, but yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the strategies on the webpage. And then Katie, thank you for plugging that into the chat box as well. So
Oh, I messed up. It's strategy. Sorry.
yeah, no, you're good.
I'll put it
So plugging it into connect parks with neighborhoods through sidewalk infrastructure investments, that lines up perfectly with that walk and read, and then getting kids to transport and bike. And then also tactic to highlight disparity amenities between neighborhood parks and promote more equitable investment strategies. And then for the Girls on the Run, build cross-sector partnerships to promote physical activity in public parks. That
And that
right
is
there.
where
It's a
And
thing.
it's a whole thing. Okay, well, cool. Yeah, I'll kind of talk to people a little bit and see if I can't whip something up quick. Yeah, and you know what? The library is going to be doing a capital improvement project where they are redoing their parking lot and the sidewalk. And we had done some community surveying, you know, last summer, and the comments were pretty great. They're like, I don't understand why we can't go straight from the library to the park. You know, like to improve the direct access, like out a different door so you don't have to go out the front and walk clear, you know, like that kind of stuff. And the library listened, and they're thinking about doing some different things with the sidewalks so they're more easily connected, and maybe allowing people to go out the back door. They're not sure about people coming back in that way, but like some real stuff might happen. So that's kind of fun.
That's huge.
Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, we're getting into all kinds of stuff I never thought I'd be working on as a health educator, but here I am doing
That's
it.
exciting. Those are big things.
Yeah.
No, I love
Nicole,
and Nicole, if you guys want help writing any of those applications or filling those out, please holler. I know Katie and I are more than willing to take some time to even just do a virtual call, like, hey, this is how we should fill this out. This is what it lines up with, just to make sure when we do bring it to the group and then to the rest of the spread, we can make sure we can get it to green light and go.
Because I know you've heard more of those conversations on the other side as far as what flies and what doesn't fly. So I would appreciate that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You guys know more like the mood and tenure of that group as far as what the deciding group. So yeah. And I might even talk with the library staff a little bit too, because I want to be sure I articulate their part correctly.
Yeah, and
help with writing it up.
yeah, definitely. And again, if you guys just wanted to jump on a quick Zoom call, or even if you guys want to do a meeting on site somewhere, just holler. I know I'm always up for that, and Katie is always up for that as well too. And Jen, if you want to come to the Kansas side, we'd love to have you visit.
I don't go there.
I just saw some of your people at a programmers meeting the other day.
What? Yes, they do go to those.
So, well, great. Well, we'll get that ball rolling, Nicole. Keep us posted on how we can help for the library stuff, and then Girls on the Run stuff. And then we can go from there. And then Katie, back to you for the agenda.
Yeah, also I dropped the application in the chat. So, and I can also email if you'd prefer, Nicole. Okay. So, notes of the agenda. Well, we've pretty much covered most of it. Very exciting because the next one is going to be group updates. So Nicole, I know that you gave some. Allison, Jen, do you guys have any updates for us?
Nothing really big. Well, we have 2 new athletics directors in
That is
KC
big.
Parks. That's actually a pretty big thing because we've been trying to build that program. And then all of a sudden, the 2 that we had decided to move. One moved to Illinois and one moved to Texas. So we have Letha Estill. She's an internal hire. She worked at a couple of our community centers, and she ran a summer camp at Southeast Community Center that was also partnered with our inclusion coordinator. So they put together our first inclusion camp. And then we have Reginald Francois coming on board next week. So I believe he's on the Kansas side currently. He worked for Wyandotte County, and so he'll be starting with us on Monday. And we're really excited to have them both. Letha's going to be focused on small little kids and getting them interested in trying out recreational sports with our Let's Play program. And then Reginald is going to do a lot of soccer programming for us because we are really excited about the KC Current Stadium being built and finished. And then also for the World Cup coming to Kansas City in 2026. Oh, and there's another soccer event coming this summer to the metro area. I forget what it's called, but it's coming. So lots of soccer.
I wish I knew more about soccer. Like,
Me too. That was a
don't.
lot for me to go through.
On the Kansas side, we've got some exciting things going on. So our state Park and Rec Association, the Kansas Recreation Parks Association, that conference is coming up January 29th through February 1. And then they are adding or looking at adding a new branch. So they have the rec branch, the wellness branch, park branch, and all the other fun branches. They're now looking at adding a children's services branch, primarily for youth programs and also like before and after school time programs. We've had a lot of park and rec agencies struggle with staffing on that and training. And so one of our directors, he's our assistant superintendent or assistant manager of children's services here, Rob Knosman. He is looking at trying to get that going. So we're very excited to see if that takes off, and then we can continue growing children's services and those programs. And then our wellness branch, we're looking at offering some one-time lunch and learns for all of our members across the state. And those would just be wellness related. And if we can get those going, I would love to talk about the Aspen Institute Project Play. and how that ends up and all the data and how we're going to utilize that. And I'm already geeking out over this, just the survey results that we've gotten for our unique link. And so far that's going well. I've presented on that specifically at a programmers meeting. So Jen, I'm sure your folks heard about it and you probably told them we're already doing it. So we got the City of Gardner, Parks and Rec. They are going to also get on board and do this as well. And the City of Miriam is also interested in doing the survey. And I had one more gal reach out. I think she was on the Missouri side, but I put her in contact with Jennifer from the Project Play. So we got more people wanting to sign up and get unique links and utilize that data. And we're rolling. So I think that's all the major updates I have. So on the Kansas side. Oh, you're muted.
I know. Dang it. You'd think I know how to use this. I was about to say I wanted to give like a clap because that's exciting for us too, but I don't know where the little icon thingies are, so I'm just gonna clap for you here. That's really exciting. Did you just raise your hand? Yeah, I saw
I
the raise
did,
hand.
but then I put it down. They had
Yeah.
the reactions. I don't know where they went.
Yeah, where are the reactions? Okay, I thought I was losing my mind.
You're not using it or losing it because we're not using it. We don't get it.
Did Zoom take them away?
I wonder.
I'm so sad about this. I'm gonna Google that later. Okay.
I was looking
Okay.
under more because they're there sometimes, but there's just captions. I don't even know what that is. What are captions? I have no
I
idea.
don't know.
You have to get
Oh.
the paid version for the reactions.
Oh, I wonder.
You know, they're
Um,
doing that to get money after it was free for so long. I'll just have to do hand clapping like Katie.
Edie, did Children's Mercy not pay for the extra Zoom package?
well,
It's okay
all-
if you
I don't know. I don't
You know
know
what?
anything.
I feel like we could apply for a some grant dollars to pay for that.
We can try and see if it aligns under our media and communication sector.
Which that leads us into the next update on the agenda, right?
Yes. So, thank you, Alice. That was a great segue. So as a reminder, tomorrow is our quarterly meeting, the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyle Collaborative quarterly meeting. And we will be having Overflow, who did our new physical activity campaign, come and speak about it. So if you're interested in learning more of how to incorporate that into your organization or how to get involved, join us. And I'm going to go ahead and put the registration in the chat. There's also a virtual option for those who are a bit farther away. So, and then I have one other update for the KCPA plan. It's for the school sector. I didn't know if anybody here would be interested in their next meeting, but it is January 11th, and we're inviting all of the Parks and Recreation sector to attend as well. So Jamius White, who's the program manager of the HYPE project, will be joining us to discuss the HYPE program, or the HYPE project, and how it empowers teens to advocate for community health improvements. The project primarily focuses on healthy eating, active living to ensure positive changes in their education, as well as employment goals and overall well-being. The HYPE project includes an educational curriculum that can be implemented within any organization that includes youth activities or programs. So it's not just implemented in school settings. It can be a sport program at parks. So I wanted to throw that out and invite you guys, and I will go ahead and post that registration in the chat as well. But that's all of my updates for the KCPA plan.
It's a great
Anything
update.
else?
Thank you, Katie. Nicole, do you have any exciting updates? I know you shared some.
not that are germane to this group. You know, our safe routes to school stuff is going fine, and you know, all our other stuff. A lot of that's tobacco related though, so maybe not for of as much interest in this group. But yeah, we're just still doing our stuff. Too busy, like always.
Good. Keeping busy keeps us out of trouble. So, well, it keeps us from causing trouble, I guess.
Perhaps, depending on your perception.
That's true.
Like
But
I
you know
said,
what?
for a lot of people, getting them to do stuff they didn't know they wanted to do. But
Yep. It's good to shake things up. So good for you. Go get it. All right, Katie, is there anything else that we need to touch on? I know for our next meeting, we're wanting to talk about programs and some community partners.
Mhm.
And we are working on getting a speaker for that. So, we might have a few people. Who knows?
Yes. So, just so it's recorded, is that in the future, we're going to focus on having these quarterly themes. And so for January, that, as Allison said, is our current theme area. So every month will be focused on a different theme, but we'll be inviting guest speakers. I'm really bad about multitasking. I apologize. I'm gonna type in the date. I had the date right for our next meeting.
January 24th.
It is January 24th. It's just not a Thursday, it's a Wednesday, so.
Oh. Oh, you typed Thursday on the agenda, but January. Okay, I'm now tracking. I apologize. Okay, Wednesday, January 24th is our next meeting at noon on Zoom.
Yeah, and I will be sending out that Eventbrite invite later today. Okay,
Marvelous.
well, thank you, everybody. It was great to see you, and I hope everyone has a happy holiday.
See you tomorrow if you're gonna be there tomorrow.
all right,
I'll be
Yeah,
there in
yes.
person.
same to you
See you
guys.
tomorrow.
Have a good holiday, all that good stuff.
Yes. Bye,
Bye.
Nicole. See you
Bye.
guys later.